Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into a darkly fascinating journey into the world of medieval self-care. And look, we are using that term incredibly loosely here. Forget the soothing spa music, forget the aromatherapy, and absolutely forget the sterile clinics you're used to. We're stepping into an era where a sharp blade was, well, essentially the universal troubleshooting tool for almost every hardware problem the human body could possibly experience. It's gritty, it's gross, and it's just absolutely captivating history. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to really try to visualize this for a second. Imagine walking down a muddy, unpaved street in, say, the year 1325. You aren't stepping into a brightly lit establishment with some soothing elevator music playing. No, you're plunging headfirst into this overwhelming, completely unapologetic sensory experience. The air is thick with the scent of singed hair, the yeasty aroma of stale beer, and then, sitting right underneath all of that, you catch the sharp, unmistakable, metallic tang of a rusty bloodletting bowl just sitting in the corner. Section 1. The Medieval Barber Shop, the IT department of medieval medicine. Now, what's really interesting about this is that when you walked through those doors, you definitely weren't looking for a relaxing retreat. You were stepping into this chaotic, noisy hub filled with unwashed instruments, the constant clinking of iron tools, and this frantic energy of a place just trying to hold humanity together with, frankly, sheer guesswork. Think of the barber-surgeon as kind of the overcaffeinated IT guy of the medical world. But instead of rebooting your router or clearing your cache, his job was to optimize your internal soup. Yep, that's right. They genuinely believed the body was governed by a delicate balance of humors. What's absolutely wild to think about today is that a quick little hair trim and a high-stakes, life-saving surgery were handled by the exact same guy with the exact same tools right there in the exact same wooden chair. So we've all seen the iconic red and white barber pole spinning outside a local shop, right? Well, there's actually a pretty dark historical truth behind that symbol. Back then, it wasn't just some decorative sign to let you know you could go get a fade. The red and white stripes were a literal, very practical signal to the town that this was the place to have your blood drained to fix a fever. Just picture the barber, dryly grumbling to himself as he pulls his sixth molar of the day by flickering candlelight, wiping his rusty blade on a dirty rag, and then turning right around to balance your humors by opening a vein. Section 2. Inside the dental crypt. A smile losing the war against decay. Let's actually step away from the barber's chair for a minute and look at the pretty bleak reality of the medieval mouth. By the time you reached your mid-20s in this era, your teeth were essentially a battlefield, and it was a war you were absolutely losing. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why those teeth were failing so early in life. You see, if you were a peasant, eating wasn't really a culinary experience. It was more like tactical refueling. You ate this rock-hard rye bread that was frequently bulked up with uninvited minerals, stuff like sawdust and actual grit from the millstones. It was basically like chewing nature's sandpaper, literally filing your teeth down to the raw gums with every single bite. But hey, what if you were rich? Well, if you were a noble, you could afford the absolute luxury of imported sugar. And that expensive, highly priced sugar, it rotted your teeth even faster, turning a wealthy smile into what was essentially a haunted basement of decay. So let's walk through this slow-motion endurance test, the anatomy of a medieval toothache. Step 1. You have your daily tactical refueling with hard bread and grit, which slowly destroys the enamel. Step 2. You begin to suffer what can only be described as a medieval weather system, just this permanent, agonizing toothache that hovers over your entire existence day and night. And then step 3. The grand finale, extraction, handled with a crude iron hook, an alarming lack of hesitation, and absolutely zero anesthesia. It's just you, the pliers, and a frantic prayer. Section 3. Cures or polite torture, balancing the humors. Okay, so we've talked about the horrors of medieval dentistry, but let's shift our focus over to medieval mental health and internal medicine, because this is where the treatments for everyday invisible ailments become truly horrifying. Take an excess of black bile, for example. In the Middle Ages, if you were feeling deep sadness, overwhelming anxiety, or maybe just burned out, the whole concept of psychological stress just wasn't recognized at all. They didn't even know what a nervous system was. Instead, they believed your internal humors were just physically off balance. And because they thought it was physical, it required an immediate, incredibly visceral intervention to, fix the plumbing. And here's a rapid-fire list of the absolutely terrifying medical solutions they deployed to fix you. You might get a warm herbal purge, which, let's be honest, was about as unpleasant as it sounds. Or they'd bring out the leeches. I actually love this description from our sources. They viewed leeches as nature's slimy, holy bouncers, applied directly to your skin to physically suck the bad vibes right out of your bloodstream. No way, right? And if your condition didn't improve after that, the barber-surgeon might casually heat his knives over an open fire. But the crucial point to remember here is that germ theory was still centuries away. They weren't heating those knives to sterilize them, they were heating them purely for intimidation, just because they looked scarier that way. Now, if you actually managed to survive the treatment, well, welcome to the recovery room. Your recovery basically involved lying in the dark on an incredibly itchy wool straw mattress that famously smelled like a barn floor from 3 months ago. You're miserable, the room is overwhelmingly pungent, and the sad, dark reality is that the medical community at this point was essentially just preparing you for the ultimate foolproof care: death. Section 4. A legacy of survival, enduring the filth of the past. Let's move to the bigger picture and see how this all builds. I want to zoom out from the horror, the blood bowls, and the rusty pliers for a moment and just focus on the incredible, undeniable resilience of our ancestors. Because medieval people stubbornly, relentlessly survived a daily gauntlet of horrors. We're talking plagues that swept through entire continents, punishments that were swift and brutal, daily meals of bland pottage, the biting, unyielding cold of winters without central heating, and, of course, the dreaded iron hook of the local barber-surgeon. They faced all of this without a single drop of modern medicine. And yet somehow, through the leeches, the pliers, and the itchy reality of unwashed wool, they still managed to laugh. They still raised families. They still sat around the fire and told stories. Humanity has always been a collection of stubborn survivors. That really hits home, doesn't it? These regular, everyday people, enduring unimaginable things, were the heroes who fought through the filth and the pain of the past to literally build the foundation of the world we get to sleep in tonight. We are sitting here today as the direct end result of their incredible resilience. So, what does this all mean for us? Well, I'll leave you with this final, provocative question to ponder. How does the gritty resilience of our ancestors against the horrors of medieval medicine make you appreciate the soft, hygienic comforts of our modern world? Seriously, the next time you visit a brightly lit modern pharmacy, or you sit back in a comfortable, painless dentist's chair, I want you to think of the barber-surgeon and his rusty tools. I really hope this explainer has given you a profound new appreciation for the era we live in. May your rest tonight be far softer and far more hygienic than a medieval straw pallet. Keep learning, keep surviving, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.